Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and Emmet is with me on this Sunday evening. Shawnee's on his way home on his holidays. Keith's fucked off on his holidays. So it's just us two holding the fort tonight. Emmet, how are you?
Good, yeah, despite technical difficulties. I know you generally take the blame for that, but it was all my fault that we're late tonight. So
Yeah, you were determined to use your earbuds, but they don't work. They're shy. And I know I've cursed in the first 30 seconds of this video. It means we won't be able to monetize it, but that's life. What can you do? Welcome to everyone in the chat. Loads of you in there already, so hit the like button if you can. Hit it now. Get it out of the way. You don't have to worry about it again. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stick the bell icon on so every time we go live, you know about it. I'll say this all again later in the show. Emma, it's been a couple of quiet days at Liverpool. All we've had to feed off is, inside training. You pushing Højbjerg agenda. And other than that, it's been fairly quiet. But I've been watching loads of golf this weekend. It ended up being a bit of a damn squib. Brilliant for Harman winning it and stuff like that. But it was like, give us more of a chase on the last day. But it didn't materialise. But then someone was telling me about something to do with dogs. And there's an issue with Fabinho and dogs. Yeah. So I'm not going to go into it now. We'll go into it in a bit. But is this... he's messing.
Apparently not. Have you not got the picture of the rules?
No.
There's rules of moving and living in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And it actually says pit bulls. Now, what he has are French bulldogs. So I'm assuming they're probably trying to work out a deal for them before he can move.
So I'll get back into it in a minute. I thought people were messing with me because genuinely, I think our last show might have been Thursday night. Might have been. We took a couple of days off. Might have been Wednesday night even. And we knew we'd be back here tonight. And I kind of switched off because the golf was on. But the deal's being held up because he has a certain breed of dog, which was wow, amazing. But it has been a couple of quiet days. I'm going to start with the Jurgen Klopp interview though. Liverpool did their own official kind of podcast now, and I think this was the latest installment of it. It was leaked the night before, telling people it's out at 9 o'clock the next morning. He looks so relaxed. Does that worry you a little bit that he's so relaxed?
No, it actually relaxes me a little bit. Look, he's never... I don't think he'll ever panic in an interview. I think he's only kind of let the mask slip a little bit. Maybe I think it was January 21, where there might have been you thought there might be the beginnings of a little bit of friction between himself and the owners in terms of stating that he doesn't have any money and that
centre-back situation.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's relaxed me a little bit. Like, look, he's the lad that goes to the training ground. He's obviously in Germany at the moment, but he's there day in, day out. He oversees absolutely everything. If he's relaxed and upbeat and positive about it, so am I. To begin with, there was just a little snippets coming out. It wasn't apparent whether it was done while they were in Germany for the pre-season or whether it was done maybe when he was on his holidays over the summer. And that's maybe why he was so relaxed. But it's apparent from the interview that it was whilst they were in training camp in Germany. So he will have known about the Fabinho. He will have known about Henderson. There's a couple of things in there that he says that there's more players to come in. He's quoted as saying it again then afterwards. So look, I know we have a few pessimists that say, that could be new players coming in from the academy. But new players are new players. Academy players aren't new players. So to me, if he's relaxed and calm and looking on it positively, so am I. So.
Yeah, it feeds into what he said at the back end of last season when he was very honest and he said, look, we haven't had the best of seasons. We all know that. We'll try to rectify that next season. We are going to bring in players. We're looking at players in all positions, I think he said, bar goalkeeper. I think he said. And, you know, he said that and people will go, okay, he's looking for all positions all over the pitch. And he's brought these two midfielders in and they've started quite well, you know, in their first kind of friendly game. And then when you see this interview, it's kind of like much of the same. You know, like you said, he would have known, like, when he lands in Germany and he does that interview, whether he gets off that plane and goes straight to that interview, he knows the Henderson situation, like you said. He knows the Fabinho situation. So to see him that comfortable in that surrounding, I think was quite like heartwarming to me. You know, because if that was an interview done at, say, Melwood, or not Melwood, AXA, I'll continue to call it Melwood, right? But if that was at the AXA training centre 3 days before they left, or 4 days before they left, and it was put out now, you'd be kind of going, look at him, he's at the AXA. This is before all this kicked off. But it's not. So, you know, he's very open about last season. He's open about what he wants us to do this season. He says it. He wants us to be the best at counter-pressing. He wants us to be the best at possession. He wants us to be the best at counter-attack. And it's really good to hear. You know, because I think it would have been easy for him to say, look, we had a bad season last season. We want to improve. We'll see where we can go. We'll see what we can do, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone will be going, we're not doing anything. So overall, that interview for me was quite... Listen, I'm quite optimistic on transfers, and we're going to get into how big a week it'll be. But I kind of looked at it and went, he fucking knows exactly where he is.
I was just about to say that.
He knows exactly where the outs are. He knows exactly... Maybe he doesn't know exactly who's going to come in, but he knows exactly where he is on the ones he's chasing, you know, and what will be, because it goes back to the start of the summer or the end of last season when he said, we'll try to get stuff in quick, but some of it could take 6 or 7 weeks of the window. But the window only officially opened on the 1st of July, I think.
15th of June, I think, was it?
Yeah, so somewhere around that. So you're talking, you know, end of July, going close to the season before maybe some of them get done, but... overall,
it's actually the 15th of July. Apologies, it was the 15th of July.
Officially opened.
Yeah.
But I would have said the 1st of July. So he knows he's probably going to get to mid August before. He could be starting the season before he gets another player in, and we don't like that. But that's maybe where he is.
But it's like you said there. The kind of the way he spoke wasn't a case of that he's happy with what he's seeing and he's happy with what he has. To me, it gave off the vibe of he knows what's coming down the line, or he has an idea. Like you said, he knows where everything is in terms of all these deals, and he kind of slipped and nearly corrected himself when he said there's more players to come in, more players that it was like he was about to say sign, but more players to come in. He said. So yeah, look, I think it'll be fine, and it's the fact that he's talking so positively about. He said. Normally, he said you might see them kind of feeling a bit sorry for themselves for the season that they had last year. But he said literally from day one, and I think he even makes a joke about it, that he tried to run the positivity out of him, or to try to, like, it's pre-season. But he says still there was no kind of I think he actually asks the guy that's interviewing, I can't remember the guy's name again, he's looking for the word and he says extinguish, and he says yes, I couldn't extinguish the enthusiasm. He says you could see the enthusiasm in every single one of them. So
and we have seen that, because, you know, I think even some of the comments players have made when they've come back, you know, like the one for me was Trent. He comes back and they're like a new hair, and he was like, yeah, we're new hair and we're better, you know, we're going to be better and stuff like that. Even little things like that, he doesn't need to say that, you know. It'd be easy for those group of players to kind of not keep their head down, but kind of going to go, oh, how's it going? Kind of do the duty in front of the cameras for the inside training stuff and get in and go about their business. But they're not. They're quite open about, you know, they want to put things right and get going. Paul McCormick says, who's doing the deals for Hendo and Fab if Jorg is over in Germany? Listen, he's probably doing them. There's others in the club doing them, but they seem like fairly straightforward deals. You know, what I mean by that is, if a bid comes in from El Ittihad, is it? I can't remember all the names of them. For Fabinho, Liverpool agree, And it's a case of you can do a medical and stuff like that. But once the money lands, we'll sign off on it. That's fine. It goes down to lawyers and all that, I'd say, at that stage. And the Henderson one, he's in Germany for the most. He's left Germany now. The talk is he had a medical yesterday. And again, that'll be a case of when the money lands, you know, he's your player, we'll sign the contracts, because they can go out and do medicals and do all they want. But until they get the money and Liverpool sign off on the forms to say he is transferring to this club, nothing can happen. So the fact that your man Jogee is in Germany, I don't read too much into it, to be honest with you. Like, it's not like he has to sit in an office on the Anfield Road doing all these deals. Like, you know what I mean? He can be anywhere he wants.
You're over in close to me. I'm in Tala. Do you know what I mean? Here we are chatting.
We're doing deals. Me and you
on
are doing
video
deals.
call. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no. So we can do deals from anywhere. Just on Henderson and Fabinho though. We expect them both to be announced gone this week. You'd have to.
Dogs pending, you know.
Tell me about the list. Tell me about the list, because this is mad. And people think I'm messing. I'm not. I've genuinely switched off from football for the last couple of days because I was like, the golf's on. There's nothing really happening with Liverpool. I can't see anything happen over the weekend. I'm going to watch the golf. I'm going to watch the Open. But the dog stuff, it has to be made up to where I'm messing.
No, it's, hang on, I have it here. It says, bringing pets to Saudi Arabia. Those planning to work and reside in Saudi Arabia and wish to bring the pets should follow the regulations below. Provide permit from the Saudi Ministry of Agriculture to bring applicants' pets into the country. Obtain a veterinary health certificate. Certificate must indicate that the pet was examined, has been vaccinated for all possible diseases and is in good health. Health certificate must be authenticated by the State Department Authentication Division. Document fees are $8.75 per document. Maybe that's what's holding it up. Payment must be made through just some website. Health certificate must be certified by the consular section of the Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the United States of America. Dogs entering Saudi Arabia must fall under one of these categories: hunting, guard, or seeing eye dogs. Exotic and non-domestic animals are not permitted entry into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia unless used for official government purposes. Dangerous and aggressive dogs such as Rottweilers and Pit Bulls are not permitted entry into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under any circumstances.
But, so Justin says in the chat, apparently Fabinho's 2 French Bulldogs are not allowed into Saudi. They are classed as dangerous alongside Rottweilers. I'm sorry, but his dog isn't holding up this fucking deal. Can't be.
Maybe Rebecca doesn't want to go and leave the dogs behind.
I know people love that dog, man's best friend and all, but come on, this can't be right. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like dogs aside, right?
And actually, in our article, there's a picture of his missus on a plane, like on a private jet with the 2 dogs.
Right.
And
so is there a standoff on a runway somewhere?
Is he literally sitting on a runway on a private jet being
ordering dog food in for
on the
dogs?
tarmac in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Arch says he's got bulldogs, which are fine.
Frenchies, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, that's mental. But listen, dogs aside, right, and their passports or visas or whatever, do you expect these 2 to go through? Because, look, if Liverpool are holding off for these 2 to go through before they confirm other deals, because, like, people, there's arguments to this, Emmet, where people go, why are they letting these fellas go before we sign these fellas? It's only letting people know that we need midfielders. They know it anyway. Yeah. The market value is there for players. It's high, but you know what you're going to pay. It's a bit like that fella, Decore at Palace, right? And he's 40 or 50 million quid. Next fall, it's like, we want 70, but we're not paying it. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? So do you know where it is? And as well as that, Liverpool don't, as much as it mightn't happen, Liverpool don't want to get caught with, we're signing this fella and this fella. And by the way, Henderson and Fabinho aren't going now because these boys don't have the money. So you have to get your ducks in order. But for the sake of getting more players in and replacing these 2, because that's what I think is going to happen. They're going to replace these 2 that are leaving, and that's a lot, right? They have to, something has to give now this week, Emmet, to give us a chance to get them in. If not for going to Singapore, which is the end of this week, I think, at least have them for at least one game. I think when we come back, I think we're playing in Preston, and we're playing another German side. I think it is.
Or something
yeah.
Like that,
so it has to work this week. It has to move.
Yeah. I mean, for everybody, I think for Liverpool, for us, because it's gone on way too long now. I just get it done and dusted. Rip the plaster off. They want to go. They're going. Get it done. I had convinced myself until this French bulldog situation. I had convinced myself that maybe Fabinho might stay because he out of the two, he's the one that I would have preferred to stay given the options that we have. But obviously, yeah, now that they're both gone, just get it done and.
But you expect this to be done. I'd expect Newman done this fairly early.
I don't see it not happening now. Like,
yeah, that of course is going to ratchet up the who's coming in argument, right? And we're going to get onto that in a minute. But you've been in my ear now for about, I don't know, a good few weeks, right? Where you said, when can I talk about the fucking predictions from last season? So so you done this thing last year and you're going to do it again this season, aren't you?
Yeah.
Where, I don't know, did you get us to, I can't even remember doing this. Did I do this?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I did, okay.
I have.
So was it, did you WhatsApp
21
me?
21 people, yeah.
Right.
Or else I did it with you. What else I did it with you?
On a show, maybe?
After a show or something.
Okay.
Like that. So we did top 6, bottom 3, top scorer, top assists, surprise good, surprise bad, player of the year, flop of the season, one to watch, and first manager to go.
Okay. And you have all the results?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do a few and then we move on to who could come in or what we're going to do that way? So go on, pick one, pick a couple there and we'll see, and name the people, because if it's and name me,
put them in. So there's a few here. So I'll tell you who we have. We have Gav, Keith, Shawnee, Andy, Phil, Dicko, Pete, Kev, Chris, Matt, me, Laura Duffy, Ash, Ron, Dan, Kev Ball, Gav Walsh, Stephen Murphy, Rajiv Kumar, he's only on it once though.
Yeah.
Red Steve and Alan Burke.
Okay.
So maybe if somebody puts it into the chat to see what or who they would like to know, whose predictions.
Yeah. So you want to do it just all? You just want to do all my predictions and then all someone else's predictions?
Yeah, we could look at it that way. Yeah.
Right. Come on. Shoot. What was mine?
So yours was top 6 was going to be Liverpool, City, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your bottom 3 were Fulham, Notts Forest, Bournemouth, of which
none of them went down. Okay.
Your top scorer was Kane.
Did I get that? No, like Haaland.
Yeah. Top assist was Salah. Who was it? Was it Salah? He got 19, did he?
I thought you had all the things.
No, I've got what the predictions are, but I don't know who actually.
He didn't look these up?
No, I didn't.
I'd say Salah. I get that. So give me Salah. Give me Salah.
Right, go on. Good surprise. Good Crystal Palace. Nah. Surprise bad Newcastle. Nah.
No.
Player of the year Salah. Flop of the season. I can't even remember this fella at all. Diego Carlos.
Oh, the Aston Villa centre back.
Yeah.
But did he get injured like about 5 minutes into the first game of the season?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not taking.
Was it even? Did he even play this season? It might have been.
I don't think he did. So I could take it if I was being evil, but I'm not going to.
One to watch was Carvalho.
Oh Jesus!
And first manager to go was Silva. Who was the first manager to go? Was it Tuchel?
Might have been. De Bruyne was assists, said Ashley.
Yeah. So I'll tell you who actually got it right. Keith got that right. Pete got it right. Let me see. Yeah. The only two people to get the winners of the league right was Kev Ball and Alan Burke, Man City.
Okay, no worries. Not real Reds. Fair enough.
Let me have a look. Let's see if there's anybody putting in here. Who do you want? Who in order? Emmet. Hang on. Gav. Yeah. I'll give you mine. I had Liverpool to win, City second, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, United. I had Everton, Southampton, and Bournemouth to go down.
You got one.
I had Salah to be top scorer, Trent to be top assister.
Yeah.
Surprise good was Notts Forest.
Surprise
bad was Leicester.
Yeah.
So I'll take that.
Scott Parker was the first manager to go.
Right, yeah.
And Mohammed says, Gav, horrendous. How are we meant to trust you from here on in? That was shocking. It was shocking. I'll try to do better next season.
Player of the year, Salah. This, I'll have to explain this one. Flop of the season, Haaland.
You put in Haaland? Of course you did. You're trying to get Højbjerg to sign for Liverpool. So
but so the flop, it wasn't so much. I knew he was going to score loads of goals, but I just thought that the City would have to change the way they play too much to suit them, that it would have affected them badly. And
they didn't change at all. They just didn't ask him to play football. Just stand in the box.
The treble. One to watch, I had Carvalho as well, and I actually had Silva to be the first manager to go as well.
All right.
Yeah, my favourite one is Phil's. Phil's first manager to go, Brian Robson.
Brian Robson, okay, because he's obsessed with Middlesbrough. Okay, what did Phil have? Just read us out, Phil. We get on to a few more later.
Liverpool, Man City. So from the top, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, United, Spurs, Arsenal. You had Southampton, Brentford, and Fulham to go down.
Right.
Top scorer was Haaland, so correct. Assists, Salah. Surprise good, United. You could probably give him that.
Yeah.
Surprise bad, West Ham. He's not getting that. Player of the year, Haaland has that. Flop of the season, Perisic. One to watch, Sancho.
Yeah.
And then obviously first manager to go, Brian Robson.
Okay.
We'll definitely do it again.
We get on to a few more in a bit. We'll read out a couple of the viewers ones, because I know you named a few viewers there, so we'll get into
it's a good few, yeah.
Especially if there's any shockers in there. I'm not taking all this blame myself. Owen Book said he just looked up his own. 1 City, 2 Liverpool, 3 Tottenham, 4 Chelsea, 5 Arsenal, 6 United. But look, we talked about Fabinho. Somebody said in the chat there as well, Henderson is due to join up with his new club on Monday in Croatia. Don't know how true that is, but that's what's being said.
Well, that's where they are at the moment.
That's where they are doing. They're playing pre-season friendlies or whatever it is there. So Liverpool need to bring in players. We talked to the death last week about how many we need, who would we like, blah 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 blah. But I go back to the Jurgen Klopp thing, and the interview. He says, or he indicates that, and like we said, he knows where he is when he does that interview. It's not like there's a bit of bombshell. I don't even think they'd have released it if there was a bombshell thrown after it, to be honest. But he's in Germany. He does that interview, and he knows exactly where he stands, and he makes out that more will come in. He's very relaxed about it. You have to hope, Emmet, that it's just a case of Liverpool, like I said a few minutes ago, getting their ducks in a line with regards to Fabinho and Henderson, being well down the road on 1 or 2 or maybe more, I don't know. Maybe being down the road on 3 and 4 and then deciding who they're pulling the trigger on. But as much as Henderson and Fabinho will probably leave this week, I think we need someone. This week, I'd like to get someone in the door, and at least one of them going to Singapore and getting to know his teammates and getting to know how we play. Because as regardless how you feel on Fabinho, Henderson or whatever, it's a lot of experience. Not even experience, it's a lot of know-how on how Liverpool operate I've left. And we kind of need that. We've a tough enough start, you know what I mean? So getting, as much as we want them to get them out the door, or willing to let them go, it has to happen this week. Something has to happen this week.
Well, look, you're looking at it now with the pair of them going, that you're probably expecting somebody that comes in to start. So, like you said, they need to come in sooner rather than later to play with the team that they're like. Macetic hasn't even trained yet. So who else does the 6? There's nobody else really. So I think somebody that's coming in is most likely to probably start the first game against Chelsea. But I think it depends on, like you said, if they get some minutes under the belt, if they're in Singapore, if they get to play against Damsgaard is a second player. What's the German side we're playing anyway in Preston?
Yeah.
But that's the worry now is that, look, I said it last week, and I know yourself and Kev then went toe to toe. You were saying that if Lavia comes in, you think he may very well just throw him in. I would still be of the opinion that, regardless of whether he does that or not, I still think that you need somebody else to come in. With the 2 of them going, I think we definitely need 2. I would have said 3, but I think we need 2. And in a situation, so let's say we go with what you say, and he might trust Lavia and throw him in and see if he sinks or swims. What happens if he sinks? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I completely get that.
I still think that you may see somebody slightly more experienced than Lavia coming in with Lavia, because Lavia, there's still kind of talks around. Apparently, Lavia has spoken to Klopp. I read that somewhere. Anyway, the fee is around 50. We've known that for a long time. I think somebody like an Amrabat or a Højbjerg or somebody with experience
You can't
in
even
that
say we're
role
allowed.
comes in. Yeah, no, I know. Somebody with experience comes in. So even if he does decide to send Lavia in, there's somebody there to kind of replace him should it not click straight away. But I think we see two fairly quickly after the other two go.
Okay.
For the reason you've said, they need to integrate them into the squad. We
Yeah,
Klopp
you see,
if
those
forced
two,
into starting these, so
this is what I'm
he
saying.
doesn't have the time to feed them in like he did with Fabinho and Robbo. He's going to have to throw somebody in there.
And the fact that if Henderson and Fabinho were still there, and you're making a midfield signing, you go fine.
Yeah.
The whole sink or swim is not extreme, really, because you have those two there that if you want to play them, they'll play. Do you know the sort of way? Liverpool's midfield, I think, is going to go up a notch anyway with the likes of Szoboszlai and McAllister, just in the terms of running power and everything else about it, right? But with those two gone, you do have to do something. It's a bit more. This has to be someone that you're going to be right on. And now, I'm not saying it won't be Lavia, because I'm still of the opinion that I think, like Project 5am says, he feels that Lavia is a Rolls Royce of a player. I think it was him that said it. Yeah. And I'm beginning to think that as well, right? And I understand the age and stuff like that. And I completely get the argument to bring two in and one of them to be more experienced. Like Keith Plunkett reckons they should do Palhinha and Lavia. Now, Palhinha, I think, went off. Someone was saying earlier in a preseason friendly with a shoulder injury. Went off. So dislocated shoulders, we're not having any bar of them because Bella Kotchap's had 3 of them and we're not fucking interested. Antikos says Palhinha has dislocated shoulders tonight, so that rules him out at the start of the season, more than likely, right? I'd say it would, wouldn't it? It's only about 3 weeks.
I think it's about. But I think it's about 6 weeks. It could be 6 weeks for a dislocated shoulder. You rush a dislocated shoulder back.
Yeah, but we're only 4 weeks away from the start of the season, aren't we?
No, that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't. I don't think he even starts the season. If you rush a dislocated shoulder, it's just going to keep popping out all the time. So you have to take care of it.
They have to. They will have to do something. It's just as simple as that. And I just have this feeling, Emmet, that they are going to do two, and I think people are going to lose their minds when they do these two. I think people are going to go, "What? We can't go in with that. They're not experienced enough." But I think Klopp, if he looks at the experience, I know he's losing experience, and you should probably replace with a bit of experience alongside a Lavia or whatever. But I think Klopp might just go, "Do you know what? Fuck it. Let's not have this conversation in 2 years. Let's just go with Lavia and whoever." And they're both youngish, but then again, like I'm not asking for like Lavia and another 19-year-old. Do you know what I mean? That guy off Palace could be there at the right price. He's 23. He has experience in the Premier League. There could be something like that. People feel now that the Palhinha deal will be off the table because he may be out for 6 weeks. And someone was saying there about LFC today says PSG are selling Mbappe tomorrow. Make Real is 65 million up from bid for Valverde and sign Trindade, is that what that says? Trindade with him for 20 million.
That's the Fluminense lad.
Oh, okay. That's Keith. Well, that's Keith
Andre Trindade, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Keith was saying that last week. I remember.
Yeah.
And
I don't think Valverde solves your number 6 issue though.
No, but this name keeps popping up. Moises Caicedo does, and it keeps popping up, and Chelsea are being linked to players all over the place. And if you and the chat have said like they feel Liverpool are just going to do something that people go fucking hell, you know what I mean? Is he still?
I don't think you do both of them.
Is he still on the table for you, Caicedo?
I think he should be, but again, he didn't play last night. Is he on tour with Brighton? He didn't get like extended leave or anything like that.
I haven't a clue, but I know he wasn't in the squad.
Even on the bench.
No,
Yeah.
but which would make you think that he's close to a move, and they're playing Chelsea. Blah. That's
is he behind the stand talking to?
Yeah, is he in a half and half scarf and all? Like, yeah, I know. I don't know, but is he still on? Is he still on the radar for you? Because for me, he's not.
No. I look, he should be. I definitely think he should be. I think he's, like you just said there. I think he has 1 foot in Chelsea. And now, and having saying that, seeing Colwell starting last night, and I'm now not blessed with defenders at the moment. I think a lot will depend on maybe what happens with him or his talks with Pochettino. But Chelsea could just go, right, well, look, you're not having Colwell. Here's 100 million.
Yeah,
give us Caicedo.
Yeah.
But I think he should be, but I don't think he is.
Yeah. Paul reckons Valverde is doing the rounds again today. I think the Mbappe to Madrid has legs and they need to free up space. We've seen Mbappe apparently, like 4 clubs are looking at him. There's only 1 club going for Mbappe, in my opinion. There's only 1. And they won't be, like Shawnee said to me, they won't be bet in getting to him. They just won't be beaten. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
But does that mean they have to free up something? They'll have to definitely free up
They'd have to do something, because I don't care who you are. That Mbappe deal is costing you. Like, it's cost. When you look at the cost over the cost of the contract,
at least 600 grand a week, I'd say he gets.
It's way over that.
Yeah,
way over that. Like, are they paying a fee?
Well, they'd have to, because he's out next year, isn't he?
Right.
Although, in saying that, don't PSG own something
him a load of money?
50 million.
Yeah, so
he could say, waive that and just let me go. You keep your 150, and then Madrid will give that to him over the course of 5 years.
Yeah, so it's a massive, massive, massive deal. And I think it's only going to be Real Madrid for me. Boom Boom says here he's agreed a 250 grand a week deal with Chelsea. That's Caicedo, and that's probably why Caicedo is more or less. And any word that's kind of came from his camp as being towards Chelsea, although he tried to get him moved to Arsenal as well. Do you know what I mean? But they upped his money, didn't they, after that, and signed him on an extended deal. So there's definitely an agreement in there somewhere that, listen, sign that deal, we give you an extra load of money for the rest of the season, and if something comes in the summer to match what we think is right, you'll go. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know why anybody, like, I mean, I'm not sure whether you have or anybody in the chat did, but like when you look at Chelsea's, we were talking about it earlier on, Chelsea's team last night, and then even their bench of what they had to bring on, like, how can they have spent nearly $1 billion or 700 million and like their team is absolute dog shit, like, when you look at it. It was shocking. Like, so why? I just don't get it. It has to be a money thing with Caicedo. Why would you choose to go to? They're an absolute car crash at the moment, and they don't have much to come back. I think obviously they've got Fofana and somebody else. Stephen Murphy was saying earlier on in the Telegram. So they've literally got 2 players to come back. But other than that, what they had there last night is their team, and you're just like, I've never seen a club spend so much and have so little. It's shocking.
Yeah. Max says neither Caicedo or Schumann want to come to Liverpool, unfortunately. And in fairness, that's a fair comment, because, like I said, anything I've heard come like vaguely out of the Caicedo camp as being about going to Chelsea. And Schumann apparently has been quoted, or his agent's been quoted and said it's Liverpool don't interest him. And that's just life. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's the way it is. But look, when it comes down to it, we're going to lose 2 players, I think, in the next 48 hours. And Liverpool need to, as much as Klopp, would say, no, we'll get it right and we'll do this, part of him has to be looking, going, look, them 2 gone, the other 3 gone. Like, he's all right, 2 have come in, but he's down to McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Thiago, Elliott, Bajcetic, I think. Do you know what I mean? And as much as Klopp loves all those players, it's not enough. Like, I think Thiago only started training yesterday or the day before, I think. But like you said, Bajcetic hasn't been involved, I don't think, yet. The 2 boys are back from the under-21s, so they're buzzing to go. And the 2 lads that have come in have played 1 game and look good, but it's still not enough. And I think
Klopp hasn't been backwards about coming forwards when it comes to when he's happy. And when the transfer dealings are done, he basically indicates that. And we all say, but he's lying. And it turns out he's not. He hasn't done that. He hasn't kind of pour cold water on more players coming in.
Yeah.
So there's I think at least two.
Okay.
I think we might be surprised and see something else, because he did also make a comment around, and this was earlier in the summer, about right back or defenders, and he just said it depends on where Trent plays in the team. So
yeah. Well, Kevin Ball put in a comment very early on. I just want to move on to it. He said centre back talk has gone awful quiet. Now worried we won't get anyone in that area. There's been nothing on that, Emmet. Like, not even made up stuff on it. You know what I mean? Like, when we do transfer shows, we go through, like, we see names everywhere, all over the media, and we pick a couple out and we go, oh no, let's talk about him as a player. That's how we approach it. What's he like as a player? Would he suit us? But we haven't a fucking clue if it's going to happen. But even if you go looking for centre half links from the most tenuous places, they're not there. Emmet, they're just not there.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head last week. Is like, so we're all preoccupied with midfielders. I think all of these ITKs and journalists are all preoccupied, and it could be, look over here, we're talking about midfielders, and Liverpool tomorrow could say, bang, there you go, there's whoever, Ignacio, what's the other that we're linked with, Mbappe, is it, or something?
Oh, Mbappe, yeah, but I don't think I link with them. I think that's just Jerry from the Telegram group wants to say.
But look, it's I think it's a case that everybody's preoccupied with the midfielders. All of the talk has been about Henderson going to Saudi Arabia, Fabinho going to Saudi Arabia. What are Liverpool going to do? And you never know with Liverpool. We all know that, like, they could just pull a rabbit out of a hat without any links. So
yeah,
I'm not overly concerned. Like, well, you've got Phillips gone and you've got Williams gone. So what have they seen now of Kwanzaa? How did he get on last season? Does he stay? And I think he might stick around the first team squad.
Well, I said it last week. I think he's the one to watch. I don't mean like, we'll play every game for us. Not in that sense. I mean,
no.
What happens with him is the watch, because the four centre halves we have, whether you think they're brilliant or not, or there's holes in all the defences really. They always like a fifth, and it was. Do you remember it was Phillips? And then it was they even brought Williams back off loan at one stage. You know, Phillips might add an issue. They've always kept that fifth, and right now, the fifth is Kwanzaa. Presumably,
I had thought
is not Phillips not gone yet though.
I think Leeds, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's been going on for ages. Because me and Joe Wayman are talking about this about 4 weeks, and nothing's happened. But yeah, Sepp van der Berg, but he's gone off to Germany now. To Mainz on loan for a season. So I think it's an interesting one of the centre halves, and there's been nothing there. James LFC says Ignacio has a £38.7 million release clause apparently. And Kev O'Sullivan says the last few years the usual journal said when we're done, and it was a true bar being forced into a deal for Mello because of an injury. Yeah, the centre. There's nothing on the centre half. Phillips is injured, says Brian Almeida. So look,
well, there was I know we're talking about centre halves, but the move of Arthur Mello to Fiorentina could kind of shine a light on maybe Amrabat making a move from Fiorentina. Yeah,
I'm just hoping Liverpool, like, we can argue about them at the end of the week. Whoever they are when they come in, we'll argue about them, because you're guaranteed they're not going to make everyone happy. I think the only one that makes everyone completely happy is Caicedo. I genuinely think he is. Valverde, I think, makes everyone happy, but I can't see it happening. Tchouaméni, I think, right, I'm not saying the only one that will be Caicedo, but there's probably 4 or 5. Right, because if you bring in Lavia, you're going to have arguments. Decore, you're going to have arguments. Gravenberch, arguments. Polina, arguments. Do you know what I mean? So there's very few. There's very, very few. That you
when we bought Salah, there was arguments.
Yeah, I know. So. I know. There was arguments over every player, but you know, it's just one where, and I've said it before, when these players officially go, I think Liverpool have to react in a way to say we're going to make ourselves stronger, and we're going to react to one of our biggest signings of the last 5-6 years going, and our club captain going. Because at the end of the day, the club captain has gone to Saudi Arabia, and that doesn't look well on Liverpool. Regardless whether you like him or not, your club captain leaving does not look well on Liverpool. So Liverpool need to react as, look, this is we're Liverpool, and this is what we're going to do. And there is a kind of a, pushing your chest out and kind of making a, a statement, I suppose. But let's see where it goes. Give us a few more of the predictions from last season before we.
Who do you want? Who's in the chat? Kevin Ball is there. And he's
just shout out a few of them. Give us who was in there? Give us Owen Burke's one.
Oh, did you not read it? You read it out. He sent it to you, did you not?
He gave me the top 6. Give me that now.
Oh, sorry. So, right, he had Southampton, Brentford, and Bournemouth going down. So
he got one right.
One. He had Salah as top scorer.
Right.
He had Trent as top assist.
Yeah.
He had Brighton as surprise good. I think he could probably.
That's not bad.
That. Yeah. He had West Ham as surprise bad. He had.
I think that's a safe one to go with. West Ham.
Player of the year, De Bruyne. Actually, flop of the season was Richarlison, and I have it in blue, so he was actually still at Everton when he made that prediction.
Oh, you get double points then because he goes to Spurs.
Double points.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had one to watch was Bazunu, relegated, and first manager to go was Gerrard. Nobody actually got
Scott Parker,
did they? I don't think they did.
Right. What other listeners have we got there? Give me one or two more before we leg
it. Kevin Ball had Man City to win the league. By the way, sorry, Owen had Man City to win the league as well. Yeah. Kevin Ball had Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, Manchester United, Everton, Fulham, Bournemouth to go down, so none out of 3 there. Yeah. He had Salah as top scorer. He had Trent as top assist. Forest as surprise good. He had Wolves as surprise bad. Yeah, I don't think they had a great
part
season.
Of the season, yeah.
He had player of the year. He had 2 seconds. Where he's gone? Salah. He had flop of the season. Eric Ten Hag. I don't think we can give him that.
No.
One to watch was Neto, and first manager to go was Rodgers.
Okay. I would have rolled in right behind that if I'd have known it, to be honest with you, especially the Rodgers one. Give me Kev O'Sullivan's.
Kev O'Sullivan had Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, Manchester United. He had Southampton, Everton, and Bournemouth to go down. Salah as top scorer, top assist Salah as well. Leeds, surprise good. He had surprise bad Leicester. He had player of the year Salah. Flop of the season Bruno. One to watch Nottingham Forest, and first to go was Silva.
Okay, good stuff. Most of us just had a disaster there. Now, do you want to do it again this season?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is right. If you want to do it, you need to get into our Telegram group, and when you get into our Telegram group, you need to hit on Emmet's name. Okay, ask Emmet what the story is. Emmet will have it set in place where he sends you back the.
I'll send you on a template. You just fill it in and text it back to me. That's
correct. All. Yeah. So there you go. It's very, very simple what to do. Or Emmet will just send you the lists and you fill in the list as it sits and send it back, and Emmet will run it through. He loves that bleeding. What's that thing he uses?
Excel.
He loves Excel. Like, he's just an absolute fiend for Excel.
When it works.
He loves it. He absolutely loves it. Let me see. Barry Devaney says Kev Ball doesn't know ball. Did Barry Devaney do it?
No.
No, well then Barry Devaney, you need to step up. You can't be slagging people.
We have Dan is Dan Bailey, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can take screenshots of them and put them in places as well.
Yeah, well, you can put them in, take screenshots and stick them into the Telegram. There's a few people in there saying, "Can I get into the Telegram?" Sign up to Telegram. That's the first thing to do. Sign up to the app. Can you sign up to that app and just search us and apply to go into it? If not, DM the LFC Daytrippers on Twitter and I'll send you the links via there. How does that work? I'm not repeating that. If you want into the Telegram group, go in to Twitter, DM us and say, I need the links. It's basically a general chat and a transfer chat. There's nothing else. I think a few of them have set up a cricket chat, but they're weird. But I'll send you the 2 links I have. I'll put it in there. We don't put it out there as an open link. And they're time sensitive links, so when you get it, you have to sign up, or it'll just go in a day or two. So if you want to get in there, you can. Just remember, if you're in the Telegram group, they have the crack, but any messing and they'll just get rid of you. There's a few people in there that are moderators and they just go, no, that's out of order, bang. And they won't even ask a question. They'll just go, boom, get out. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it goes.
And they can sniff Manx out a mile away as well.
Yeah, they can sniff them out as well. So that's what we're going to do. Someone asked about in fantasy league, the Premier thing. Are we doing? I don't think we're doing one this season. I'm being honest with you. But again, there will be one set up through the Telegram group. So if you want to get in there, and Jesus, it'll be it gets tasty as that goes on. So if you want to do that, you can. We won't be doing them on the Daytrippers this year. So there you go. Anything else before we go? Oh!
No,
I know
game
what.
Tomorrow.
I know what. Yeah, it's a game tomorrow. But I want to ask you, Liverpool captain, who gets it?
I think I said it last week. I think it's going to go to Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I don't think it should go to Van Dijk.
All right.
Not that he's done anything wrong. It's just that I think he needs a season where he just kind of nearly concentrates on his own game. I think an armband can weigh pretty heavy on someone's. It weighs heavier on some players' arms than others.
Yeah.
I'd be looking at possibly one of Alisson, Robbo, or Salah. And I know some people don't like a keeper being captain. I would maybe Salah. He plays nearly every fucking game for us.
Let me see. The we're not running an official fancy football. There will be one ran through the Telegram group, so that's absolutely fine. So get in there and do it. So that's how that's going to go. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure people knew that. The captaincy for me, Robertson's name has come up a lot, and I get people's feelings behind that, but I don't think he's quite there to be Liverpool captain. I think he's brilliant around the players, but when I look at him in the inside training and stuff like that, I think he should definitely be part of that leadership group that they have, and I think he is part of it. And I know Trent was brought into it recently or in the last 12 months, but I don't know if it happened captain. My pick would probably be Salah, but I'd make Van Dijk the vice captain. So that means that Salah is your captain, all right? And he plays so many games. And Van Dijk as vice captain, he's on the pitch an awful lot. So you have loads. Or you could go Alisson with Van Dijk as vice captain. Once they're on the pitch, they're going to do their thing anyway. It's not like only Henderson, when he was captain, or only Van Dijk spoke to referees. They all do it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to think, you have to think as well about the whole thing off the pitch and how players carry themselves and the time that the likes of Henderson takes out of his day to do different bits and pieces. I think it's a hard one. I think there's arguments over them all, but maybe Van Dijk does end up.
There's a couple of shouts there as well for Trent, but I think that Trent is a future Liverpool captain. However, much the same as I said, it can weigh on a player's arm. I just think that Trent, if moving into midfield, he's going to have a lot of concentration to learn a new position. And I just think the armband is probably a distraction, too much of a distraction from that.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that he will be a future captain, though.
Is there an argument, though, that Trent would need to be captain, or at the least vice captain, in order to become captain next time around? Because if you put him as, say, don't put him as vice captain now, all right, and say you put Alisson, and say Alisson stays for 5 years, and you put in somebody else that's going to be there.
Well, come here, it's not unheard of to take a captaincy off somebody.
Yeah.
Famously, Hippie to Gerrard.
Yeah.
Was Gerrard even vice captain at the time? I'm not even sure he was vice captain, was he?
No, I don't think he was. I don't even think there was a vice captainish vibe going on.
Although, if it's Klopp going to be doing, I don't see him taking the captaincy off somebody. And look, there's an argument that, and without getting into a conversation about Mo, like this time next year, we're talking about him having only a year left on his deal.
Yeah.
So How long does it? You'd like to see it. It's probably going to somebody like Henderson got it. What was it? Was it 8 years ago? He's with the club 12 years. He's captain 8 years. Is he?
Yeah.
It's 8 years since Gerrard left. Was it 2015?
Yeah.
So he could look at that as well.
Yeah. I just think in seniority around the club, Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, even Robertson stand above Trent at the minute. I know the whole local link with Trent is there, but I think Trent might end up being vice captain, and I think that just smooths the pathway to him becoming captain. Because if you leave him out of that process now, he's having to jump 2 rungs. Do you get me? To get the captain. Yeah. Where I think if you put him vice now, I think it's the pathway for him to be captain.
Well, maybe giving it to the likes of a Van Dijk, who look, he's running out of years. Salah most likely maybe will move on after the end of his deal, so maybe that then is the perfect time for Trent to take over in a year and a half, 2 years time.
Look, whoever gets it. I like the argument around Van Dijk needing it to kind of put that responsibility on him on a full-time basis, but you never know in the background. Does Van Dijk want to be? You know, sometimes you can have club captain, and you know, there's different ways of throwing at this. But we'll see what happens. I'd say that'll have to be announced as soon as Henderson goes. That'll have to be announced. So we'll see where it goes.
I'd nearly announce it beforehand. Just with the way, like, just take it out of his hands. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You've decided to take the 20 bags of silver. We're taking the captaincy off you. We're giving it to X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
and that's not me being bitter. I would have been one of Henderson's biggest fans and whatever. And look, I don't think there's not much that he owes the club, but I just think it's been fairly messy with the way it's all been handled. Yeah. And like, it's time for the club to move on. It's apparent they've accepted the deal. It's happened. He's done his medical. Announce it.
Yeah, it's if you're a betting man, it's probably Van Dijk, because if Henderson or Milner didn't play last season, Van Dijk had the captaincy. Do you know what I mean? And
he had it as well in the pre-season friendly last week. So
yeah.
So it's probably an indication.
Yeah. The short and odds will be on Van Dijk, but the interesting one might be the vice captain, and I think that's where Trent might come in. I reckon.
Laszlo says he didn't like that shuffle thing. It needs changing.
But look, it's been a quiet few days at Liverpool. We expect it to ramp up a little bit over this week, with departures and possibly incomings. We have got a game tomorrow. We're excited to see that. It looks like Szoboszlai won't be involved. Picked up a minor ankle knock, which is absolutely fine. It happens, but won't be risked. Again, that's fine. Get him right, and he goes in Singapore and plays a couple of games there and ready to go with the season. That's the most important thing. It's only a very minor thing, but one that you kind of have a little bit of precaution over. But I'm interested to see loads of players again tomorrow. 12:30, is it?
12, I think.
12 tomorrow. Behind closed doors, apparently. No crowd. But still on LFC TV, so if you want to watch it there, you can. Rest of the week, Chris and Kev are going to try to do a great game show, but it just hasn't happened for them over the last couple of weeks. I have got a quiz that I want to do, but everything else gets in the way. We are going to do a load of transfer stuff. But listen, we're still filling the weeks as best we can up until the season starts, and then we get back into our rhythm with different things. And yeah, we're gonna try to do some live shows, live recordings from Liverpool in the next couple of, when the season starts anyway. We've got our hands on a new toy that we're going to try out and test, and hopefully the next time we go to Liverpool, instead of us all going quiet, we'll be able to do live YouTube shows like this from Liverpool. So that should be good. Owen Burke says just give the captaincy to Lavia. Yeah, why not? But there you go. Can I ask you a question before we go?
Yeah.
I usually ask Keith all these questions, but you're the only one here. What's your feelings on Jigsaw's?
I don't really have much of a feeling. I probably have completed very few in my life. I don't own any.
Right.
Can't remember getting any presents of any.
Yeah.
But I would be that type of person where someone is just about to complete like a 2,000
and knock it off the table.
Yep.
Oh, I would be Malavogue.
Or just take one piece.
No, I'm only asking because my dad came home the other day with a 500 piece one, and it's like just a horse running on the beach, so it's like 3 colours on the whole thing, like, and Yeah, I love them. I think they're really relaxing. If you ever want to calm down and just chill out, just do a jigsaw.
See, I'm the opposite. I wouldn't have the patience for it.
Oh, we started
I'd
tonight.
be getting the scissors out and cutting them and all so that they'd fit. I just wouldn't be able for it.
Paul Giovanni asks, as in puzzles or the woodworking tool. No, I'm not talking about the jigsaw thing you plug in the wall. What you're feeling, the blades are great. No, a jigsaw, puzzle. But yeah, no, me daughter brought one home and from the shop last week. We started tonight, so we got all the edges done. The key is to get the edges done. Get all the edges done, and then you split your thing into 4 pieces, 4 sections, and you get it right. But I know that's loads of tactics. But honestly, if you ever want to calm down, relax, stress free, your mind goes off everything if you get a jigsaw. So if you're stressed out, get a jigsaw.
And there's a lad in my job that does them while he's working away. Like he could be talking to people on the phones or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's those colored, like the adult colouring books.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he's just when I say adult colouring books, I don't mean the pictures.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But they're really kind of like they're really kind of technical looking. But they're supposed to be really relaxing.
Barry Devaney says you'll be colouring in next, Gav. Relax, Barry, will you? Barry's fucking abusing everyone tonight. What's wrong with Barry? But now, like, honestly, it's on the kitchen table now. Now, the biggest thing is going to be keep the 3-year-old away from touching it. But he's quite good at going, look, don't do that. And he doesn't. But if he knocks her off the table, I'll kill him. Never mind his sister. But no, they're really good. The adult colouring books blow my mind, though. Do you know what I mean? I've just visions of adults with big crayons just scrawling on pieces of paper. Do you know what I mean? Not
staying within the lines.
Yeah. But no, there you go. Bit of stuff. If you want to relax, get a jigsaw. And Davis is getting old, Gav. I am. Got my hair cut last week, and the amount of grey in it is appalling. It's just gone so grey, but I'm still enjoying life. That's the main thing. Like I said, we will fill out as many days as we can with shows this week. I'm sure Emma will be back on at some stage, but he's probably cutting grass 5 nights a week for the new season approaching with his football team. Keith's away for 2 weeks, so you won't see him. Shawnee should be back at some stage. Chris, Kev, Matt, anyone else that does be on, we'll try get them on this week and cover as much as we possibly can. The link is in the description for our charity campaign. Get us to 20 grand for breast cancer research. Donate if you can via the link. If you can't, share it amongst your family, your friends, your colleagues, WhatsApps, Facebooks, wherever it might be, across your social medias. Do that as well for us if you possibly can. Glenn Parsons says Lego is where the crack is. Lego is amazing.
Until you stand on it.
Oh, don't stand on it, but Lego is phenomenal stuff. So, Lego's good as well. You get lost in Lego as well. You really do. My son isn't really into it. But I might try to get him into that as well. It's just to keep my mind nice and relaxed. But there you go. Right. Anything before we go, Emma?
That Aumburg asks, have I made any new signings? We actually did. We're in talks to make a new signing, but they don't allow Cavajans in Tala, so it might not. The deal might fall through. So
yeah, house cats aren't allowed in Tala, so these players might be off the books.
He's off the Crumlin instead.
It's still amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. Owen Bucks is my little one loves Cullen, but I go mad when she goes outside the lines. Relax. Jesus Christ. At least she's writing on pages, not colouring on walls. But there you go. Barry Devaney's trying to backtrack massively here by saying I'm only messing. We're not happy with you, Barry. I'm just going to say it. But listen, that's been the flat back four. Just 2 of us at the back tonight. I think we covered it quite well. And we'll talk to you soon. Over and out.